Nobody warned you that your hair would change like this. One morning you looked in the mirror and something was different, flatter, thinner, less of everything you remember. And instead of someone handing you a real solution, the world handed you bad advice that made everything worse. Today that stops. I am giving you 7 specific steps that will change how your thin hair looks starting tonight. Not someday. Not after an expensive salon visit. Tonight. And by the time this video ends, you're going to understand exactly why everything you have been doing has been working against you. Step number 1. Change where your products land. Most women with thin hair apply product from roots to ends, exactly the way the bottle instructs. This is the single fastest way to eliminate every bit of volume before styling even begins. The roots, where lift originates, get weighted down immediately. The ends, where moisture actually matters, often receive insufficient product. The application location is completely backwards for thin hair, and simply reversing it produces results you will see the same day you try it. Conditioner from mid-length to ends only, never touching the roots. Volumizing mousse or a lightweight spray at the roots only, never drag through the ends. The division point is approximately ear level. Above ear level, lifting products only. Below ear level, moisturizing products only. This single location correction changes everything that follows in your entire styling process. Here's why this works. Thin hair has less natural oil at the roots, which is the exact reason it flattens so quickly. Adding any product weight at the root zone eliminates the natural lift those strands still possess. Removing all product weight from the roots while adding only lightweight volumizing ingredients there instead gives those strands the one thing they need. Lift support without anything pulling them down. Thin hair with conditioner applied at the roots looks flat and slightly limp by mid-morning regardless of how carefully it was styled afterward. The same hair with product applied correctly at the right zones looks fuller at the crown, holds its shape longer through the day, and does not develop that weighed-down appearance until significantly later. Same hair, same products, different location, completely different result. Any drugstore volumizing mousse under $8 works for this step. Look specifically for the words weightless or lightweight on the label. If the product feels heavy between your fingers before you apply it, it will feel heavy on your roots after you apply it. Lightweight at the root zone is the only rule that matters here. If you just learned something in the first 5 minutes of this video that nobody clearly explained to you before, subscribe to this channel right now. Because this is exactly what we do here every single week. Specific practical techniques that women deserve to know and almost never get told in plain, straightforward language. Subscribe right now. Hit the notification bell. You have been doing without this information long enough, and that stops today. Step number 2. Flip your drying technique completely. Blow drying thin hair upright. Standing normally with the dryer aimed downward trains gravity to flatten your hair directly against your scalp. Every single drying session reinforces that flat pattern. If you've been drying upright for years, you have been actively teaching your hair to lie flat, and then wondering why it lies flat by noon regardless of what you do afterward. This is the exact technique. Flip your head completely upside down for the first 60 to 90 seconds of drying. Use fingers only at the roots. No brush, no comb, lifting and separating at the scalp while the dryer runs. This positional change uses gravity as a direct ally rather than the enemy it has been. When the hair returns to upright position, it has been physically trained in the opposite direction from its natural flat tendency. Finish drying upright to set the style, but the foundation of lift was built entirely during those 60 upside-down seconds. Hair takes the shape it dries into. Dried flat, it stays flat. Dried lifted, it holds lift longer. The upside-down position means the roots are physically separated from the scalp during the drying process, the exact opposite of their natural resting position, and they dry in that lifted orientation. The lift created in 60 seconds of upside-down drying can persist for hours that no amount of product applied upright afterward can match or replicate. Thin hair dried upright produces a smooth, flat result that collapses within 2 hours. The same hair dried upside down for 60 seconds first produces visible root volume that holds its shape significantly longer, often through an entire day, without any additional product required to maintain it. A lightweight concentrator nozzle attachment for any dryer you already own costs under $5 at any beauty supply store. It directs airflow precisely to the root zone during upside-down drying without disturbing the surrounding strands. This small addition makes the entire technique more effective and more controlled. Under $5. Immediate difference. Step number 3. Move your part. Right now, the part you have worn in exactly the same place for years has done 2 specific things to your hair that nobody ever explained. It has trained the hair on both sides to fall away from that line, which physically widens the visible part over time. And it has created a permanent crease pattern that makes your scalp more visible at that exact location than anywhere else on your entire head. The longer a part stays in the same position, the more scalp it reveals. That widening you've been noticing at your part is not new thinning. In many cases, it is trained habit, and trained habits can be corrected. Here is the exact technique. Move your part at least 1 inch from its current habitual position today. A side part positioned approximately 1 inch off center immediately redistributes volume from the heavier side to the lighter side. It eliminates the train crease at the habitual part line, and it creates the visual impression of hair growing outward in a natural direction rather than falling away from a worn groove. For maximum visual impact, a zigzag part created with the pointed end of a rat tail comb breaks up the straight line completely. A straight part creates one continuous line of revealed scalp that the eye travels from front to back and registers as significant thinning. A zigzag part breaks that line into segments the eye cannot follow continuously. The revealed scalp is perceived as dramatically less significant because there is no unbroken line to measure it against. This is not a trick. This is visual perception working directly in your favor. Straight part on thin hair with habitual placement. Visible widening gap that draws immediate attention to scalp. The same hair with a side part or a zigzag. The part line appears narrower, less defined, and the hair appears to grow in multiple directions rather than falling away from a single groove. The difference in a photograph is genuinely remarkable. A rat tail comb costs under $3 at any drugstore. Scalp powder or tinted dry shampoo matched to your hair color applied along the new part line closes the remaining visible contrast between hair and scalp. This combination, Move Part Plus Scalp Powder, is the single highest impact 2-step correction for visible part line thinning available at any price point anywhere. $3 plus $8. $11 total. Results that women pay hundreds of dollars at salons attempting to achieve through other methods. Step number 4. Add texture. This is the volume multiplier. Smooth, straight, flat iron hair looks thinner than the same hair with texture. Always. Without exception. When thin hair is pressed completely smooth, every sparse area becomes visible at the same time. Every gap between strands catches light and highlights the scalp beneath it. You end up looking like you have half the hair you actually possess, because smooth, straight hair eliminates all the dimension that creates the illusion of density. Texture creates shadow. Shadow creates depth. Depth makes hair appear denser than its actual strand count. This is the exact principle artists use when they add shading to make a flat drawing look three-dimensional. Your hair works on the same principle. The moment you add even minimal texture to thin hair, the visual density increases measurably, because the overlapping wave pattern covers gaps that straight hair leaves completely exposed. 3 no heat, no damage texture methods ranked by effort level, so you can choose what works for your morning. Lowest effort. Before bed braids, slightly damp hair into 1 or 2 loose braids. Not tight, not secured with a damaging elastic. A loose braid held with a soft scrunchie or fabric tie. Sleep on it. Wake up to natural waves that required 0 morning time, 0 heat, and 0 skill. This single overnight habit creates the texture that transforms thin hair from flat to dimensional without touching a single styling tool. Medium effort. Velcro rollers on slightly damp hair while you do everything else in your morning routine. Coffee. Makeup. 10 to 15 minutes of any activity. Remove the rollers and your hair has body and wave that no heat tool produces without damage. The volume created by Velcro rollers is rounder, softer, and more natural looking than curling iron waves. And it causes 0 heat damage to already vulnerable thin strands. Maximum impact. A hot brush tool that smooths and lifts simultaneously in one pass. For women who want a polished textured result in under 10 minutes without managing a separate round brush and blow dryer simultaneously. One tool, one pass per section, significant visible volume increase. Velcro rollers in a medium size cost under $8 for a full set at any American drugstore. No heat, no damage, reusable indefinitely. The most underused volume tool available to women with thin hair, and the one that consistently produces the best results with the least skill required of any tool at any price. Tell me in the comments right now, have you tried Velcro rollers recently? Because most women I speak to have not touched them since the 1980s and have absolutely no idea how dramatically effective they remain. Tell me your experience. Or tell me you're trying them for the first time after watching this video. I genuinely want to know what happens when you do. Step number 5. Use less product. Significantly less. The instinct when thin hair looks flat is to add more product. More volumizer. More thickener. More spray on top of the spray that did not work. This instinct is wrong in almost every situation. Product accumulation on thin hair creates weight that eliminates whatever natural lift those strands still possess. The women with the flattest, most lifeless-looking thin hair are frequently the women using the most product, because each product disappointment triggers the addition of another layer on top of it. And each additional layer makes the situation measurably worse. Here is the golden rule for thin hair product use. If you can feel the product in your hair after styling is complete, you have used too much. Your hair should feel clean, natural, and bouncy after styling. Not coated, not stiff, not sticky. The moment you feel product texture with your fingers, you have crossed the line from helpful to harmful for thin hair specifically. One product at the roots, one product through the mid-lengths and ends. Maximum. Never layer multiple products at the root zone. Never use stiff hold hairspray on thin hair under any circumstance. Stiff hairspray freezes strands together and eliminates the separation between strands that creates the visual impression of fullness. Thin hair needs movement and separation. Stiff hairspray eliminates both simultaneously. Thin hair with multiple products layered at the roots looks flat, slightly heavy, and loses all movement within an hour of styling regardless of the cost or quality of the individual products used. The same hair with one lightweight product at the roots only looks fuller, moves naturally, and maintains its shape significantly longer, because there is no accumulated product weight fighting against the lift that was created during drying. Lightweight dry shampoo under $7 at any American drugstore, applied at the roots only between wash days. It absorbs the excess scalp oil that causes flat roots. It adds grip that helps volume hold its shape longer. It adds texture that makes thin hair feel and look fuller without adding any weight to the strands themselves. Applied correctly in small amounts is the single most versatile product in any thin hair routine at any stage of the day. Subscribe to this channel right now if you are realizing that the products currently sitting in your bathroom have been working against your hair rather than for it. Because this is the specific, honest information we deliver every single week. Not sponsor recommendations designed to sell you more product, but real guidance that actually changes what you see in the mirror. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with one woman in your life who has been adding more and more product and wondering why her hair keeps looking worse. Because she needs this information today. Step number 6, scalp powder. The 30-second transformation. Most women with thin hair focus every bit of their effort on the strands themselves. The volume, the texture, the styling. The scalp, the surface the hair grows from, and the surface that reveals thinning most visibly, receives almost no direct attention. And yet, visible scalp at the part line, at the crown, and at the temples is the primary visual indicator of thinning that observers register first. Addressing the scalp directly rather than only the strands above, it is the fastest and most dramatic single correction available at any price point. Scalp powder, also called hair powder or root concealer, matched to your hair color, is applied with a small brush or built-in applicator directly along the part line and any areas of visible scalp. The powder deposits pigment at the scalp level that visually closes the contrast gap between your hair color and the lighter scalp surface beneath it. Application takes under 30 seconds from the moment you open the product. The result is immediately visible to the naked eye and lasts throughout the day without touch-up. Here is why this works at a fundamental level. Thin hair appears thin primarily because of contrast, the color difference between the hair strands and the lighter scalp visible between them. When that contrast is reduced by matching the scalp color more closely to the hair color, the visual gap between strands becomes significantly less obvious to any observer. The actual density of your hair has not changed. The visual perception of density has changed substantially because the contrast that was revealing the thinning has been minimized. This is color correction applied to the scalp the same way makeup artists apply color correction to skin, addressing the underlying contrast rather than only the surface appearance. A visible part line on thin dark hair against a light scalp reads immediately and involuntarily as significant thinning to anyone looking. The same part line with scalp powder correctly applied reads as a normal part in normal density hair. The contrast has been closed. The thinning is no longer the first thing the eye registers. Color dry shampoo in a shade close to your hair color, under $10 at any drugstore, works as a scalp powder alternative for women who want one product that serves both volume and coverage functions simultaneously. For women who want dedicated, precise scalp coverage, any tinted root concealer powder available at drugstores nationwide provides more targeted coverage at the part line and crown specifically. Either option, under $10, 30 seconds. Results that women are genuinely surprised by every single time they try this for the first time. If nobody in your life, not a friend, not a stylist, not a beauty video, has ever clearly told you that scalp powder exists and that it works the way makeup works for your scalp surface, subscribe to this channel right now. You deserve this information years ago. This channel is built to give it to you now and every single week going forward. Subscribe. Share this with every woman you know who is dealing with visible thinning at her part. Because this 30-second step alone changes the mirror experience every single morning. Step number 7. Build an overnight routine that protects everything you just did. Most women think about their hair only during the morning styling window. What happens to thin hair during sleep? The friction against the pillowcase, the compression of strands against the pillow surface, the disruption of every bit of volume created during the morning routine undoes much of that effort before the next day even begins. An overnight routine for thin hair is not a luxury or an extra step for women with too much time. It is the foundation that determines how much work your morning actually requires. 3 overnight practices, each one simple. First, a loose braid or very loose low bun before bed. Never a tight elastic that creates a crease or breaks strands at the point of contact. A loose braid secured with a soft fabric scrunchie prevents the compression and tangling that destroys thin hair strands during sleep movement. It also, as covered in step 4, creates natural texture that requires zero morning effort to work with. Second, a silk or satin pillowcase, replacing whatever cotton pillowcase is currently on your bed. This single change is the highest return overnight investment available for thin hair at any price. Cotton pillowcase fibers are rough at a microscopic level. They create friction against hair strands with every movement during sleep. Thin hair, which has fewer protective cuticle layers than thick hair, is more vulnerable to this friction damage than any other hair type. Breakage, frizz, flyaways that stand away from the main hair mass and make thin hair look thinner and more disheveled than it actually is. All of these are friction damage. Silk and satin pillowcase surfaces are smooth. Hair slides across them without resistance. No friction, no breakage, no morning flyaways from overnight damage. Third, a lightweight scalp treatment applied at the roots only 2 nights per week. Not every night, 2 nights. Overtreating the scalp creates the product accumulation problem covered in step 5. 2 nights per week of a lightweight scalp serum or treatment oil, applied only at the scalp surface, not through the strands, supports the scalp health that underpins hair density over the months and years ahead. You're not just styling the hair you currently have. You are investing in the hair your scalp is capable of producing going forward. Thin hair slept on a cotton pillowcase wakes with compression flat spots at the crown, increased flyaways from overnight fiber friction, and short broken strand pieces standing away from the main hair mass. It requires significant restyling effort to reach the same result achieved the previous morning. The same thin hair slept on a satin pillowcase wakes with significantly less disruption, retains more of the previous day's styling integrity, and requires noticeably less morning effort to style effectively. A satin pillowcase costs under $15 at any major American retailer, Walmart, Target, Amazon, any home goods section nationwide. Not silk, satin. Silk costs significantly more and produces identical hair benefit. Satin at $15 delivers the same friction reduction as silk at $60. This is the most affordable high-impact overnight change available, and it requires zero effort after the initial purchase. Now before the close, 3 habits that silently cancel every single step above. Because getting the technique right and then maintaining these habits produces the same disappointing result as never watching this video at all. Habit 1. Touching your hair throughout the day. Every time your fingers run through styled thin hair, 2 things happen simultaneously. Scalp oil transfers from your fingers to the strands, adding weight that collapses volume. And the lift created during the morning routine gets physically disrupted by the movement. Women who touch their hair frequently, checking volume at the crown, smoothing sections, tucking behind the ear repeatedly, undo their morning work within hours through accumulated unconscious contact. Awareness of this habit alone extends the life of any thin hairstyle by hours. Habit 2. Using the wrong brush. Boar bristle brushes are traditionally recommended for all hair types and genuinely benefit thick hair by distributing scalp oils down the shaft. For thin hair, that same oil distribution adds weight to strands that have almost no tolerance for additional weight at the root zone. For thin hair, a wide tooth comb for detangling and a cushion brush with wide-spaced flexible bristles for styling preserves the volume between stylings that a boar bristle brush eliminates. The right brush for thick hair is often the wrong brush for thin hair. They are not interchangeable. Habit 3. Washing too frequently. Daily washing of thin hair strips the minimal natural oils that provide the only strand protection thin hair possesses. The daily wetting and heat drying cycle creates repeated thermal stress on already vulnerable strands. Infrequent washing means frequent heat exposure, which compounds damage over time in ways that become visible as additional thinning. 2 to 3 washes per week with dry shampoo between wash days maintains scalp health, dramatically reduces heat damage accumulation, and allows the scalp's natural oils to provide the minimal protective function that thin hair depends on. Drop a comment right now and tell me honestly, how many times a week are you currently washing your hair? Because the majority of women dealing with thin hair are washing more frequently than their hair actually benefits from. Tell me your number below. And subscribe to this channel because the complete wash day routine specifically designed for thin hair is coming in a future video, and you need to be here when it drops. Here is the complete toolkit. Everything covered in all 7 steps, organized simply so you can screenshot this and take it to any drugstore in America this week. Lightweight volumizing mousse for root application. Any drugstore brand labeled weightless or lightweight. Under $8. Dry shampoo in a shade close to your hair color. Doubles as both between wash volume and scalp powder along the part line. Under $10. Velcro rollers in medium size. The no heat, no damage volume tool most women stop using and need to return to immediately. Under $8 for a full set. Scalp powder or tinted root concealer for immediate part line and crown coverage. Under $10. Satin pillowcase. The overnight investment with the highest daily return of anything on this list. Under $15. Rat tail comb for precise zigzag parting and part line placement. Under $3. Flexible hold hairspray only. Never stiff hold on thin hair under any circumstance. Every product on this list purchased at the same time costs less than a single salon blowout. Every product on this list contributes to results that you control daily, not results that last until the next wash. This is a complete system, not a starter kit, not a temporary fix. A complete system you own and apply yourself every single day going forward. Your hair changed. That is real. That is valid. And it deserves a real, honest response. Not dismissal. Not expensive interventions that promise more than they deliver. And certainly not the advice that told you to cut it short and accept a version of yourself you did not recognize in the mirror. You do not have to accept that. You have to change the approach. And now you have exactly what you need to change it. 7 steps. Change where your products land. Roots get lift, ends get moisture. The division is at ear level, and it does not move. Flip your drying technique upside down for 60 seconds and let physics work for you instead of against you for the first time. Move your part at least 1 inch from where it has lived for years, or zigzag it and eliminate the straight line entirely. Add texture through overnight braiding, Velcro rollers, or a hot brush, because texture is shading, and shading creates the density thin hair needs. Use half the product you currently use and eliminate anything with stiff hold near your roots. Apply scalp powder along the part line in 30 seconds and close the contrast gap that has been revealing thinning every morning. And build an overnight routine with a satin pillowcase and a loose braid that protects everything you did all morning, so the next morning starts from a better place. This is not about looking like someone else. This is not about chasing a younger version of yourself or hiding any part of who you are right now. This is about the version of you that exists today, walking out the door feeling put together, feeling confident, and feeling like the specific woman you actually are with the hair you actually have. That woman exists. She's been there the entire time. She just needed the right 7 steps to show up in the mirror the way she deserves to. This channel exists because women deserve beauty information that is honest, specific, affordable, and genuinely useful. Not content that makes you feel worse about yourself before offering you something expensive as the solution. If today gave you something real, subscribe right now. Not as a favor to this channel, as a commitment to yourself that you are done accepting mornings in front of the mirror that leave you feeling defeated before the day has even started. Subscribe. Share this video with one woman in your life who is struggling with her thin hair and receiving the same bad advice that has been circulating for decades. Drop a comment telling me which of these 7 steps you are trying first tonight. And tell me, what is the one thing about your hair you're most excited to change starting today? Because your answer in the comments might be the exact thing that convinces someone else watching this video to finally take the step they have been hesitating on. Subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Your hair is not the problem. The approach was, and now you have a better one.